All right, up next is Dave. I'm going to make this one a little shorter because I don't know if Dave will actually watch it. So, but I have his quarterback, which is Aaron Rodgers, ranked second. Running back, his starters are Justin Forsett, Mark Ingram, and Rashad Jennings. I had them ranked eighth. The reason for the low ranking is I don't like Forsett at all. I understand the year that he had last year. Most people do like him, especially in a Trustman offense. He's a journeyman running back. He's not for me. Kind of like T.Y. Hilton. Most people like him. I don't care for him. And receivers, I have him ranked last, 12. So Julian Edelman and Martavis Bryant. I know a lot of people were expecting big things out of Bryant, and his suspension has nothing to do with the ranking because we didn't know he was suspended at the draft, and that's all that matters in these. But Bryant, he's their third receiver. I mean, I don't know why he's not their second receiver, but you can only have so much production from a third receiver, and I felt like he was a bit touchdown dependent. So that's three players in his starting. Really, four players. I'm sorry, his tight end Owen Daniels. I have ranked at 10th. I think there's two guys on that team that are going to take over for Daniels. I don't think he ends up as a starter. If not for injury, then for production. There's two athletic, I don't remember their names, but two athletic guys that they like as well. So, but anyway, that's three guys. Really, 4 or 5, maybe even 5 guys, depending on who he starts. That I'm just not a fan of. Forsett, I'm not a fan of. I do like Rashad Jennings, but he's got Andre Williams and Shane Vereen on that team that are going to take away touches from him, and they want to pass the ball. I'm not the biggest fan of Edelman. He'll collect a lot of catches, but not a lot of touchdowns. I'm not that big of a fan of Bryant, and I'm not a fan of Owen Daniels. So, just my opinion. I could be wrong. I'm sure that I'll play Dave, and Dave will beat me by 50 points. That's usually how fantasy football goes. So, the starters, I have a C minus. And it's no. I hope Dave isn't offended by this. I just, there's players that he took that, like Forsett, that I would have taken someone else. But even despite the fact there's players I don't like, there's players I love as well. Rodgers, I have him ranked number 2 overall as far as quarterbacks go. And, again, this was before Jordy got hurt. So, at the time of the draft, Rodgers looked like a great pick. He's still a great pick. I thought it was smart for Dave to take him. His best pick in the whole draft, I think, is Mark Ingram. I love Mark Ingram this year. I think he's really going to step up and improve. He had a really good year last year, and I think he's even going to improve on that. So that's a really nice pick. I have that as his best pick, and then I have Forsett as his worst pick. So anyway, C minus for his starters. For his full team, though, I have as a B plus because I think he's a phenomenal bench. He's got McFadden. We didn't know anything at the time of the draft who was going to start, what McFadden's role was, but it looks like he's going to carve out more of a role than we originally thought, and it's probably going to be more of a committee there in Dallas behind the best offensive line in football. So I really like that backup. Andre Williams, another guy. They're actually talking about starting him now. He could start over Jennings. They could split carries, so it could hurt both of them. Hopefully that's not the case for Dave. But I really, for a guy on his bench, that's a great bench player. Another great bench player is a handcuff to Ingram, which is Kerry Robinson, especially with C.J. Spiller out. We didn't know that at the draft. But still, even at the draft, the fact that he had the foresight to pick Kerry Robinson, that was great. That's a really good player. And then another guy people forgot all about, Toby Gerhart, went in the 2nd round last year, which was way too early. But still, it shows he has some skill. They have a rookie running back there. Gerhart was hurt a lot of the year, and they may give him another crack. So that's another good guy to have on your bench. Steve Smith Sr., who else is Baltimore going to throw the ball to? That's a great guy to have on your bench, and you'll probably end up starting him. And then Stevie Johnson, I'm not a fan of his, so I'm going to kind of skip over him. But that's a B plus for the full team. Add those backups to some of those starters with Ingram, Rodgers. So I mean that's not bad. However, there are the guys that I don't like. Again, this is very subjective. I'm sure if someone else looked at his team, they would think the same way. Or I'm sorry, think completely different. This is just my opinion, and I'm sure I am wrong because I always am. But that's just how I see the team. So a D+ overall is what I give Dave's team. I have him going 2-11. I don't have him making the playoffs. Have him finish in 12th this year. The strength of that team, though, is his bench and his quarterback, and then the weakness would be his receivers in Edelman, Martavis Bryant, Steve Smith, and Stevie Johnson. So probably needs to improve on that. So again, just my opinion. Someone has to finish last. So anytime I rank someone lower, it's someone has to be there. So someone's going to be offended one way or the other. So hopefully it's not offensive, but that's just I call it the way I see it, and that's how I see it.